Welcome everybody, we're in the mix and today we have a treat. We have someone that you need to meet. I met this guy, I thought he was Colombian and he's not. But we're gonna get to meet him today. His name is Moises Luque. Say it.
Hey, what's up, Moises Luque? Hey,
Moises Luque, how are you, my brother?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
Good. I hear you have a lot of information for people who want to start a business, and we want to know a little bit more about that. Also, I want to know about your story because you say you're Dominican and Chinese, but you look Colombian and you sound Colombian when you speak Spanish. So I want to know a little bit more about yourself, how you got here, and what is it that you do for the people?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here and giving me the opportunity to tell my story and have this reach. I am Dominican and Chinese. My father's Chinese and my mother's Dominican. I'm originally from New York. My parents migrated to the United States and here I came.
Wow.
Right. So the interesting part about it is, like you said, yes, most people do think I am Colombian because of my accent. And how I speak Spanish, but I am not. I do love my Colombian people, of course, and the culture and the food and all of that is great. So I have a huge affinity to the
Ajiaco, we're talking about that.
Ajiaco, come on. Ajiaco. I need some right now. So after this, we're gonna go and pick up some ajiaco. All right. So yes. I ended up in New Jersey, right? And I ended up in New Jersey as a New York import to New Jersey.
And you want to get away from the loudness, you like, let me.
I did. I wanted to get away. I wanted to take my children out of that environment and bring them into a better school district. Nothing wrong with New York City. Not a bad mom. I love New York, always. New York at heart, always. But I just wanted a more rural living for my children. That's all it was about.
And I understand that what you do today, you work with the NJSBDC. How do you say that? Because I'm trying to.
It's okay. The NJSBDC, the New Jersey Small Business Development Centers.
NJSBDC.
Yes.
Oh, RESPECT, NJSB.
Yeah, exactly that.
I'm getting it. What is that?
Sure. So the New Jersey Small Business Development Center, I call it the best resource in New Jersey for entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And the reason why I said it's the best resource is because one, and the most popular one, is that we are at zero cost to the entrepreneurs. I don't like to use the term free because nothing's really free, right? I like to call it more like prepaid services, right? Our taxes are paid to the state and to the federal government, and they in turn allocate funds and give it back to us in the form of help through the NJSBDC and all the SBDCs across the United States.
Oh, okay. So you help business owners to get help from you, from the government, but through you,
Absolutely. We guide entrepreneurs in getting access to resources to develop their business or even to start it. So we work with businesses from inception, which means just from a business idea, you could come to us and sit down and we could help you develop that idea. We could register your entity in the state of New Jersey, which means I create an LLC or S Corp or corporation, whatever you want to do, and then form it for you at zero cost. You still have to pay the fee to the state, right? But that's independent from us, right? That's just everyone has to pay that fee. But yes, we guide you through the whole process, and that's just one of many things that we do. We help you do. We get you access to capital, certifications, and all those other things, which I'm sure we're going to touch on that a little bit more in a minute.
Well, people, we're in the mix with Moises Luque, and we're learning about what he does for small businesses and what he does for Latinos and all kinds of. Is it for Latinos or for everybody?
So the NJSBDC works with all demographics, right? We're here to serve every entrepreneur across the state of New Jersey. However, our state director, which is Kelly Brosna, has taken the initiative to develop and grow underserved communities and help develop their business and increase the assistance by 10% every year, right? So we're talking about women, minority, veterans, disabled veterans, and recently the LGBTQIA plus communities that were added into what they call the MWBE program in the state of New Jersey, which is a certification program that assists businesses on self-identifying and access to help and better terms on loans, et cetera, and resources.
Yeah, I want to know a little bit more about that and how to get that help. But I want to touch a little bit onto how do you get to this country? Were you born here? Were you born in Dominican Republic, Ecuador, China? Tell me the story of how you got to where you are today here in Elizabeth, New Jersey, because coming from Ecuador, Dominican Republic, Nueva York, and then boom, we're here in Elizabeth.
We end up in Elizabeth, New Jersey. So yes, I was born in New York City. I was born in Manhattan, and I was raised in the Bronx. We kind of, my parents did a lot of moving around, so I went and I lived in Puerto Rico for a while, and I studied, and Puerto Rico became kind of like my home for a short period of time, and then I went from all English education, right, to all Spanish education, which is pretty tough, right,
culture
for a kid.
Shock. Like
Absolutely,
crazy.
Super culture shock. I remember because of my accent, I was being paraded around the classromes by my teachers, and the teachers were saying,
like a little,
yeah, they were like, listen to his accent. He talks so funny. But he sounds cute, right? And this is, I'm like, I'm 9 years old there, standing looking at them, I'm like, oh, what's going on?
I'm talking normal.
Yeah,
what's happening?
What's happening, right? So grew up in the Bronx. My education was mostly there, on and off. And then how I ended up in New Jersey was as an adult, like I told you, I wanted to get out of there. So I ended up coming to New Jersey and moving, and I was at that time working for a company in New York, based out of New York, because I was living there, right?
Yes.
So as I got into New Jersey, shortly after that, I bought my house. About 3 years later, the pandemic started, right? And we all know how that worked out for us.
Yes.
And for me, it was crippling, right? And when I say crippling, it's because I lost my career job, which I thought at that time was going to be my career
job. Yeah, like
it was my career. This is where I was going to retire from, according to me at that moment, right?
Yeah.
And so I ended up losing my job. I was making well over six figures, right? I was making great money. I had a retirement plan. I had a 401k. I had a pension that I didn't put a dollar into, which doesn't even exist anymore, right? Those old school pensions.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it's like, boom,
gone.
They pulled the rug from underneath my feet. I fell back. I'm like, ooh, what just happened? So now I don't have a job. I just bought a house. I have my kids. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I didn't have a lot of time to think. Right, and I had to pull some money out of my retirement account and my pension, and I bought some trucks, and I started to do transportation of freight in the state of New Jersey. During that same year, which is in the beginning of the pandemic, around 2020, right? I came across an institution here in the state of New Jersey called the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, right? Which led me to another organization, which was the NJEDA.
Okay.
And then that was when my life kind of took a pivot, and my business did too. The NJEDA is the New Jersey Economic Development Authority.
Okay.
They assist businesses here in the state. They're a state agency that helps, with grants and loans and all these other resources. And so I applied for a program called the New Jersey ZIP program, which is the Zero Emissions Incentive Program.
Okay.
And it was to help businesses and commercial entities reduce greenhouse gas emissions in the state of New Jersey. So that caught my attention because I've always had an affinity, right, to sustainability. In the previous company that I worked for, I was involved in something very similar. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna go apply for this grant and see, hopefully I get it. I was one of the first minority-owned businesses in the state of New Jersey to get that grant. I was awarded $700,000.
Wow.
And so that completely changed the way I did business and my business
Of
also,
course.
and life-changing.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal, right? We're not common, and when I say we're not common, meaning the Hispanic community, the Latinos and Latinas in sustainability, there's not a huge presence or representation. So it's very important for me to get my name out there, to build this business, to give back to the community, to make the environment better
Yes.
here in New Jersey, right? And reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So fun fact, I'm gonna just throw it out there. In the
Yes.
state of New Jersey, 46% of greenhouse gas emissions come from the transportation sector. So here I am owning a transportation company. So I am actually part of the problem at this point,
yes,
right?
yes.
So I'm contributing to
fix
that.
Yeah, it's like a balance.
So that's when I took that grant and turned that around and got rid of my diesel trucks and bought some electric vehicles to transport and do business with. And so that was a pretty positive thing for me. It got my face out there. It gave me presence in the state of New Jersey. With all these agencies, they started to see the traction and the movement and people following me and people saying, wow, this is pretty neat. Can I get that money too? Can I apply? How can I apply? So I started getting out there helping other businesses. No compensation. I wasn't doing it for any money. I wasn't doing it for anything. I was, through the other organizations that I had partnerships with, I started to help them.
Yes.
And for free, like I said. So a lot of people started taking advantage. And then it was 10, and then 20, and then 30, and then 40, and 50. And so eventually, I get a call from the president of a company that I was buying my EVs, my commercial EVs from, which were part of the program, the NJEDA's program.
Yes.
And the president reached out and said, hey, Moises, listen, first of all, I want to thank you for assisting us in the sales of these vehicles because I didn't work for them. Right? so besides wanting to compensate me, right, for assisting them in pushing their vehicles, he also gave me the opportunity to go to the NASDAQ and open up the stock market and ring the bell.
Ooh, my.
So that was a big deal for me, right? It was a huge deal. And again, the visibility that I got with that here in the state of New Jersey was huge. So people started to look at what I was doing and it was drawing people.
Yeah.
And so the NJSBDC, through another colleague of mine, Rafael, at the time, he introduced me to the NJSBDC.
Yes.
And I met the state director, Kelly Brosna, and she gratefully saw the value that I can bring to the organization. And so from there, it's history. I was contracted as a consultant, and now I end up in Elizabeth.
Yeah.
In Elizabeth.
That's why I always say, go Elizabeth.
Go Elizabeth.
And if you want to know anything about Elizabeth, just type Go Elizabeth in any search engine, and even the AI knows what Go Elizabeth is. So please look for it.
Absolutely.
How does the NJSBDC help find people to help? Do they reach out to you or do you reach out to them? Like if I'm a business that is struggling, is trying to find a way or grow or expand, and I don't know how to do it, do I reach out to you or do you reach out to me? How's that work?
So yeah, but through our partnerships, right, we hold about a lot of events, and our presence is is pretty strong all across the state of New Jersey, especially with our partners. So any events that any Chamber of Commerce are doing, we make sure that we're present, we're invited, we're there, and typically the client comes to us. And they hear about us through word of mouth, other clients, other organizations such as Chambers of Commerce, learning institutions, right? We typically are housed within the learning institutions. So the NJSBDC, we have huge partners that have been working for us for years, right? Like Rutgers University, Ramapo, and JCU, just to name a few, right?
Yes.
And I'm sorry for leaving the rest out, but it's a lot of them, right?
They
know all the great work and all the great resources that they have given us. But this is a very, very unique setup here where we're sitting right now. And I want to highlight that because it's the first time, it's like a pilot program, right? My state director kind of wanted to switch it up a little bit. Yeah. And I think that she couldn't have made a better choice right now because of the setup, which is a very unique setup here in Elizabeth. So we're servicing Union and Somerset counties out of Vintage City, which is located here in Elizabeth, right? And not only that, but the setup that we have internally, which is in a co-working space, right, where we are surrounded by the very, right, by the
other people that are going to help, who you're trying to help, they're around you. So it's easy to get to them. It's easy to talk to them, and that's why it's such a beautiful setup that you have here.
And unique, right, because you have all these small businesses that are surrounding us. and saying, hey, listen, I may need this, or I have a question about that, and they're just walking distance, right? My office is here, they come over here, and within 3 minutes they can have an answer, right? So extremely important. That partnership is very important, and the vision that my state director, Kelly Brosna, and also Sal Garcia from Vintage, and of bringing, resources to this beautiful building, this facility, right? Where, we have partnerships with Northfield Bank, the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce that doesn't only cover Elizabeth, right? It covers Linden, and they partner with other institutions also, and agencies. So it's a group effort, right? It's a group effort, and that's what makes us unique and is such a great resource, because we help each other out. We're building this pipeline of clients, and we're taking care of them kind of like internally, with them having to come out of here to get those resources.
I love that. It's great. Just to simplify for the people that are watching out there, anybody who owns a small business, anybody who wants to grow, explain a little bit of examples of the things that you can help some business with. For example, if you're a small business and you need to grow, if you're a small business, if you need information on this, on that, what are the key things that you help small businesses do here?
So one of the key projects that we spearheaded in the NJSBDC is we kind of simplified this process for getting certified as a minority women veteran, disabled veteran, and now LGBTQ owned business. Why is that important, or why is that certification important? Well, it opens the doors for a lot of things. I'll give you my example, which I always give. The grant that I talked about before, remember the $700,000? So if I wasn't certified as a minority-owned business and as a small business enterprise, I would have lost $153,000 of that money that they gave me. So you could imagine, that is the importance of being certified, right? In whatever category is it that you meet. So we hold labs, in-person labs, where we are the first ones to do it, the NJSBDC, where you go in person. We vet you before, there's a process. And we simplified it to the point where by the time you get to us to do the certification, you're gonna come in, and within an hour and a half, 2 hours at most, you're gonna leave here with a physical certification for SBE, a small business enterprise certification. And then the other ones, whichever category you meet, will then be emailed to you after the state's review.
Oh, that's great. There's a lot of small businesses that they are struggling because they are lacking information to where to go, to what to do. They get locked into that mentality, and I want to tell them to reach out to you. And
Absolutely.
To try to connect, ask questions. These people are going to help you like you have no idea, and your life and your business is going to change. So so just so you know, we're here in the mix with Moises Luque from the NJSBDC.
There you go.
I did it. No, I did. I just want to urge people to reach out to you,
please,
and ask questions about how to.
But that's the biggest problem that we have, right, in our community, is just the lack of knowledge, where to go to, right? As you're an entrepreneur, you want to start your business. Where do I go? You have questions. Who can help me? How can I get money to start the business? Where do I step foot in? Who can guide me? Right?
Yes.
So we're kind of like the one-stop shop. Right. So the first step to request counseling for us, you go into www.njsbdc.com. NJSBDC.com. And when you get into the site, you're going to see a window where it says enter your email, and then you're going to see a drop-down window where it's going to have you choose the county that your business is in. Because we do it that way so that who you have as a consultant, right, or as a counselor to assist you to get these resources knows more about the area that your business is in, right?
Each area is different, so it's better to have somebody that knows the area and knows what
to better serve the business in the community there. So you sign up there, and then you go in, and someone will relatively within a short period of time, you get a response from us, from a counselor, letting you know that how can we help you, and then from there we take it.
Has it made a difference doing it from Elizabeth, New Jersey, doing all of this, what you were doing? Has it made a difference in the way the impact is having on all the other businesses around?
Well, absolutely. I think that since we've been here, and we haven't that long, I think we've already made a huge impact within the business community here in Elizabeth because of our partnerships. No, clearly is not a thing that we do on our own. We need the chambers of commerce, right? The Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce. We need the Northfield Banks. We need the Vintage City, right? People. We need, the college across the street, right? We need all of our partners so that together we could bring these resources and better serve the community. And as you see it, as you're walking around here now, and even the people within the tenants, the other entrepreneurs, I've already worked with, I would say about 60% of them.
Wow.
So that's having a huge impact.
Of course.
Right, even here internally.
Yes.
And the better that we do, the more the word gets out and the more impact we have.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for inspiring us and giving us all that information that you have. It's great. I want to stay here with you. We should do another podcast. I mean, you have a podcast, right? Don't you?
Yes, I have. I have one in the works. Yeah. It's called Mind Your Biz NJ. Yes. And,
Mind Your Biz NJ.
Mind Your Biz NJ. Yes. It's,
great name.
It's catchy. That's the whole point.
Yeah, and it's about
catchy.
business, but you have to mind your business, right?
Listen, any time that you want to get together, and have this conversation,
Yes,
I'll be more than happy to, bring these resources out to our community.
Wow,
thank you for having me here, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to get this information out to our community.
Oh, thank you. There you have it. There you have it, Moises Luque from the NJSBDC.
High five!
Yes, sir. I got it. Please reach out to him. He's gonna be of tremendous help to you and your business. And it's been a pleasure, man. I appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you.
In the mix.